Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. A frigid night outside, but inside the action is going to be hot and heavy, as this is a very important league game tonight between team from Belleville that came in here, the Lady Tigers, against your Garden City Lady Cougars. I'm Phil Henry, and I'm here along with the coach, Barry Patterson. And Barry, what can you tell us about your feeling in tonight's game?
Well, I think having actually had an opportunity to watch both teams play this year, I think that Garden City, probably on a skill talent level, is slightly ahead of the curve. Belleville's coming off of a season where they were 0-21 a season ago, and had lost their last 10 in 2012, so they had an 0-31 streak. But this year, they've under a new head coach, they've managed to turn it around a little bit and change their record. So it should be a very good game, as Belleville's trying to get back to what was a once proud program.
Well, these two teams are very evenly matched. The Belleville Lady Tigers are coming in here 5-2. They're 3-1 in the Western Athletic Blue Division. And the Garden City Cougars, of course, are coming in here 7-4. They're 3-1 in the Red Division. Yeah. So two evenly matched teams. They're both averaging right about 35 points a game, and they're giving up 35 points a game. So don't go anywhere. This game promises to be a real dogfight all the way through. And we saw that the other night in the boys' game, just a little bit to allude to that, Barry, to get you up to speed. And the Garden City, the Cougars were out-hustled, out-muscled. I got an opportunity to kind of give that speech to the girls, and I said, don't be like the boys. You know, don't be out-hustled, out-muscled. Get out there and dive for those loose balls, and that's what it's really all about, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't think that that's going to happen, at least at this point, with the Garden City squad this year. They've been real heavy on the boards this year. 550 rebounds. They're averaging about 50 rebounds per game on the offensive and defensive end combined.
Excellent.
It's been a real strength.
Yeah, and we saw Coach Tyree there, Coach Michelle Tyree,
yes,
taking over. She's done a great job. And, of course, early on in the JV game, Coach Ted Fournier piloted the Lady Cougar JV squad to a 40-26 victory over the Lady Tigers.
Yeah,
so
congratulations
that should give
to them. That's about, I think, 5 to 6 consecutive victories.
Absolutely excellent. That's a good feeder program for the varsity level, as the Lady Tigers from Belleville control the opening tip. Barry, Garden City out to meet him on the point. You got Hannah Vera Burgos out there at one point, and on the other side you got Deja Collier. 2-3 zone that Cougars are putting on, and the idea is to keep them out and forced a turnover right in the opening moments of this basketball game. I'm Phil Henry along with Coach Barry Patterson, and Coach, that was some very tight defense.
Yeah, I think that probably the game plan is to keep it tight in the paint. I don't think they respect a lot of the perimeter shooters that Belleville brings, so I think they're going to force them to have to try to put it up from the outside and then control the boards.
Vera Burgos out. There's the first shot of the game. It's off, and nice big rebound in there. She puts it on the floor, up underneath the basket, and what a terrific athletic play. Abby Joseph, as we might expect, she's one of the leading scorers of this team, and she made a terrific move, didn't she, Barry?
Yeah, nice little turnaround under the basket there. She is averaging around 11 points a game, but her real strength is her rebounding. And again, that's been the key on that missed shot. Garden City got the offensive rebound and the putback, and again, that's been their strength this year.
So important that they go right back up with the basketball as the Belleville Lady Tigers are trying to work their offense. Right now they have one shot, and it went off errantly, and the Cougars are going to take over on a tipped by the Belleville Tigers, and the Lady Cougars going to take over and bring it on as they're leading 2-0 here in the opening minutes of this big basketball game. Working it in, taking the drive with the left hand off the glass, and in is Lindsay Mihalik. Lindsay Mihalik makes that one off the glass. Very important to show that left hand right off the bat, isn't it, Barry?
Yes, yes. The Garden City offense, what they're trying to do, that's on their first 3 possessions, 3 turnovers for the Belleville squad. But again, Garden City's trying to, whether they're in a man or they're in a zone, they're looking to attack the gaps, get to the basket, kick it back out for the open 3-pointer, or if they can get to the rack, then to try to finish there.
Abby Joseph getting it down, outside shot, but Vera Burgos, and she is fighting for the rebound, and it's going to be off the Tigers' hands, going to Garden City. 4-0 here with 2 minutes gone in the opening quarter.
Yeah, Garden City will shoot a lot of 3-pointers, as we see right there. That's Mahalik again.
Lindsay Mahalik is on fire right now. She has 5 points, putting it on the floor and firing it in for the Tigers is Victoria Perez. Victoria Perez answers back. It's 7-2 Cougars. Cougars on the move. A little up-tempo right now. There's a fake by Joseph. She passes, looks out to Collier off of her hands and in to the stands. And it's Tiger ball.
Yeah, Mahalik and Vera Burgos will put up a lot of threes during the contest. They're the top 2 3-point shooters for the Garden City squad. And Deja's probably their top defender, who just tipped the ball away.
So important to keep those, get the defenders looking right there. Sometimes they take one eye off and look at the defender with the other one, and that's not a good thing to do. Keep both eyes on the ball. Tough defense by the Cougars, 7-2 lead. Put down on the floor. Lindsay Mahalik giving her problems. The 2 guards are really, and it's going to be a foul on Deja Collier right there, Barry, and she didn't look like she could do much about it. Victoria Perez did a great job of drawing that foul, is what she did. She drew the foul. Sometimes we see that the player makes a foul. In this case, the offensive player drew the foul.
Yeah, she got inside her and she had to try to recover, and at that point, again, she kind of went right into her and drew that contact, as we see here. But what Belleville's looking to do, they're running out of a 1-3-1 offensive set, and they'd really like to get the ball into the center and then work off of that and kick it back out and then try to open up their lanes from there.
Cougars up 7-2 here in the first quarter. Bringing up Abby Joseph. Keeps it on the floor, out to Vera Burgos, and here's the shot. 3-pointer, you called it, Barry, and she sinks it. 10-2 lead by the Cougars. I said a frigid night outside, and the action's hot inside. The baskets have warmed up for the girls tonight.
Yeah, well, I'm sure the girls are happy to be home here in Garden City. It's been about a month that they've been on the road. So it's nice for them to get back home, and I'm sure the baskets feel a lot more friendly here at home.
Absolutely. They've got coming home with 3 straight victories on the year. They started out the year with 3 straight victories, and then they've had 3 straight coming into this game. As Abby Joseph tries to get inside, and it's knocked away by the Tigers. Tigers bringing it down. Victoria Perez with control of the ball. Back on out. There it is. Nice steal by Deja Collier. She's going coast to coast, and she lays it on in. Terrific play right there by Deja Collier. Got it in the passing lane, Barry, and then finished it.
Yeah, got the nice steal. I thought she might have got away with a carry there, but she's got the real good quickness at the top there, and she's going to get a lot of steals from that spot.
I think the key on that was, too, when she hit it, she tapped it out far enough to where she got to the ball. She had several steps on any defender. A lot of times, you start feeling or hearing those footsteps behind you, Barry, and it can sometimes cause you to lose concentration. Nice control as Abby Joseph passes it in. Putting the ball on the floor is Mahalik. She's been hot in this first quarter. She's got a ball. Nice move and up and in. That was a nice pump fake right there, and then she put the ball on the floor and went to the basket. Very nice play.
She'll get an opportunity to get to the line, and this is the one area I know Coach Tyree has been really harping on the girls to improve at the free throw line. Last couple games they've really jumped up, but early in the season they were struggling to get to 50%. And again, in those real tight games down the stretch, that's going to be a big issue for them.
Oh, absolutely. It's very important to get those points at the free throw line, and they are on 50% on the year as she misses the first free throw. Does Lindsay. Lindsay's had a great first quarter. She's a sophomore. Boom, she knocks it down, 13-2. And right out of the gate quickly are our Lady Cougars. They're playing really great defense at this point, Barry, and they're also, showing a good muscle on the offensive side.
Yeah, I think, again, physically, the skill level for the Lady Cougars is going to be a step above that of the Lady Tigers. But, again, they're really working hard. They're changing the complexion of their program. Again, as I said, they've been struggling the last couple of years mightily, and it's nice to see them back and competitive again.
Brianna Smiley trying to drive to the hoop right there, and she was out of control, to say the least, and ended up with the famous double dribble on her way into the basket. Turns it over for the Cougars, and they come down with 2:45 and a 13-2 lead. These two teams have played 3 common opponents this year, Barry, and they've had the same results. As firing it in as Vera Burgos quit. Lindsay Mahalik has had a terrific game, but she threw it away. And here's Brianna going coast to coast, and she lays it up and in. Brianna Smiley, 2 points for the Tigers. She's quite a load when she starts coming down the court.
Yeah, looks like a very strong competitor. Might have kind of traveled there, but
Abby Joseph out to Deja Collier, and she's off the rim. Here's Lindsay Mahalik, and she's going to let it go, and it's going to be Cougar ball.
Okay. Deja didn't quite get herself set on that look and rushed that shot just a little bit. But getting back to Brianna, yeah, she's a very solid athlete, and it's preferred to take that coast to coast.
Well, it's a very young Garden City team, and it's so important when you talked about rushing these shots, that they settle down just that little bit right there, just that split second, just to get themselves set and take a nice, good shot. As the Cougars are working in, Mahalik hits another one from three-point land. Lindsay Mahalik is on fire. She's got enough right there to create global warming all on her own. And the tight defense of the Cougars on the inside forces the ball back out to that is Bianca Ballinger.
As you can see, I believe Belleville's actually attempted a perimeter shot yet. They keep trying to work it in, but that's their 6th turnover here in the first quarter.
Abby Joseph over to Vera Burgos. HVB, they call her. And she's got smacked on the arm. And that's going to be a foul on number 34, the second foul in the 3rd team foul on Belleville. It's going to be Ashlyn Canavas is coming in right now. She's going to spell Kelly McDaniel. Kelly has done a great job. She's been one of the perimeter defenders you were talking about, Barry.
Yeah, and she's been, along with Abby Joseph, those two have really dominated the glass this year.
Abby Joseph driving to the lane, pulls it up, and she's going to get fouled in the act of shooting. She should be going to the line to shoot 2. She will. 16-4, a minute to go. I'm Phil Henry, along with Coach Barry Patterson.
I think the impressive thing to me that the Lady Cougars have done this year is their schedule hasn't been overly tough within the league this year, but they've beaten the opponents that they're supposed to beat over the course of the season, and then they're getting better and better at playing with those teams, those upper-level teams, like, again, Romulus and Warren Regina, some of the tougher teams they've played as they're trying to prepare themselves down the stretch to play a tough Livonia Stevenson team from district time.
That's March Madness. What you're talking about is it's Madness for the girls, too.
Yeah, well, into February, actually, but goes into March.
Hopefully. Never heard of February Madness.
No.
It doesn't sound right.
No. The girls start. Yeah, February Fury.
Okay, I like that a little bit better. February Fury. Bringing it up is Bianca Ballinger. As Cougars defense has just done nothing but disrupt the Lady Tigers. They are unable to penetrate and get into the paint to get any easy shots off.
Yep, Deja just missed another steal there.
There's a shot in and scoops in and on. Nice play.
That was Bataya. Did a great job of positioning herself. in the low post. And the thing Belleville had that time is they got the great ball movement from side to side. It went to the left, went all the way back to the right. They were able to get Garden City moving, and they found the gap to be able to dump it inside.
And then she just put it on the floor and went up strong to the basket. 16-6. 7 seconds to go. I think they're going to get a shot up. They're certainly going to try, and there it is.
Traveled.
My goodness.
Well, they got away with the travel.
She took more steps than Michael Jordan. Some great officials, though, officiating these games. These guys are some real first-class guys. Dave Massason is out there. Gary Kulachar is out there. And, of course, Phil DeJager making all the calls. And let's take a look at what's coming up for Garden City. And on our screen, as you can see right there, big game against Dearborn, and then Arbor Prep. Then there's Romulus. You talked about Romulus being the leader in the clubhouse, and of course Robichaud seems to be down this year.
Yeah, they've been down for a number of years, but we're really gearing up for that Romulus game. Obviously, the Dearborn game in the meantime is going to be big just to stay pace with Romulus. Romulus is one game ahead of us at this point, but going to Romulus and giving them a battle and maybe having a shot to win the league title. And you get a nice test with Arbor Prep, who's got a very solid team this year. They've got a couple losses, but their losses are to the likes of like Country Day, who I believe is undefeated, and they're a very good ball club. So that'll be a nice test for us going into that Romulus game.
And of course, there are 3 more road games, but it looks like the month of February is going to be a big month right here in the Garden City Gym for the boys and the girls. And I expect to see you out here. $5 get you in is what I heard. It's a rumor, and you better take advantage of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or just tell them you heard it here on this broadcast and say, they told me I can get in for $5 and they'll let you in, and it's great entertainment. You could be sitting home on a night like this watching reruns, and who knows what's on as Vera Burgos tries to hit a big 3, pulled down. But get on out here and support your teams. $5 a person. Can't beat it.
That was a tough one to get a rebound, but that's, again, one of the parts of this offense actually is firing up that 3 and then working real hard to get that weak side rebound.
Working it in as Ballinger puts it down. They're getting the ball in, and nice shot. And that's the second one for Brianna Smiley. She likes that spot. She has not moved on the offensive end from that spot, and she's got a nice shot right there, a real high arcer. There's a fired long one right there by Spillman, and that ball is swatted back in. A nice effort to try and save that one by Ashlyn Cavanis, but just couldn't get her feet up off the ground and swat it back. Turnover. It's Tiger ball.
Hannah had a nice step through there and got the steal. One more turnover on the Belleville end.
Hannah pushing the ball up the court. She's met there, passes it back out. This is Abby Joseph. She pump fakes and throws. There's another shot by Spillman. She gets not a kind rim. Ball's on the floor. Great hustle in there. And Ashlyn.
Yeah, Ashlyn Cavanis, and she works real hard off the glass, and ball went out of bounds. She made a great hustle play, and unfortunately she didn't come away with it, but that's the type of hustle they've had on the glass, and it's made them successful.
And hustle like that is contagious, isn't it, Barry?
Yeah, absolutely.
And there we go. They finally called her, on her way to the basket. She got away with a couple of them early on, and this time they were waiting for her. That is, we're talking about Brianna Smiley, as she was called for traveling.
Yeah. She just needed to put it on the floor there. She actually had a nice little slash cut into the basket, but forgot to put it on the floor first.
Abby Joseph into Mahalik. Vera Burgos fires a 3-pointer. The ball's bounced high off the rim, controlled by the Lady Tigers. They're trying to push it up the court. Over to Smiley. She puts the ball on the floor with the left hand. A movement back on out to Ballinger or Smiley. She takes a look. Garden City defense just really moving right there. Nice. And back to Smiley again. That was a nice touch right there to get the player off of her game as Vera Burgos stuck her hand in right there and just kind of tapped the ball enough to derail her. Yeah,
Belleville's very patient on the offensive end right now. Garden City seems to be, one pass, they're firing up the 3, and if they're not getting the offensive rebounds, then you give a lot of possessions the other way. But right there, as you say, Hannah did just enough to maybe disrupt the drive to the basket, and Brianna probably needed to go to her left hand there to finish that shot, and tried to go with the right and wasn't able to finish.
She misses both the free throws, and in there controlling the boards is Kelly McDaniel. Kelly doing a great job in the center tonight. Abby Joseph over. There it is, the Deja, and boom! As they say, boom goes the dynamite as Deja Collier bangs in a three-pointer. 19-8. Cougars were kind of listing there after a great hustle start.
Yeah.
And that was a big play right there as Smiley works it in, ball off, and then Carter again controls the rebound. Vera Burgos over to Abby Joseph. Abby coming straight in. She looks over. Vera Burgos. Lindsay Mahalik loses the handle on it, and Brianna Smiley thought she had something going and couldn't control it.
That was kind of the difference there between when that steal you talked about earlier with Deja Collier, when she was able to tip it towards the basket. And here she got the ball, but the ball was going towards the out of bounds. And she would have been able to control that tip towards the basket, then she had a layup opportunity.
Well, I think that was a time when she's a left-hander, and she was going to her left and didn't have as much court space as if she'd been a little bit on the right side, but it's hard to be ambidextrous for everybody. Deja Collier out, pump fake by Abby Joseph, back to Collier. She fires up a three-pointer. She's feeling it. Rebound by Vera Burgos, and she tried to get it out to Mahalik and bounced it away from her. I think that Hannah got in there where she wasn't really comfortable. You know, she was among the tall trees, if you will, and she wanted to get on out of there. Yeah,
she had committed to the pass before she actually seen it. And it was either travel or throw it and hope somebody gets it.
Yeah, she definitely didn't have a shot. Tigers working the ball in, fires. This ball is controlled by Joseph. She gets it out quickly to Mahalik.
It appears as though Belleville is just running basically 2 shifts of 5 here. The second time they made wholesale changes, and you know, again, Coach Brody on the Belleville end is, you know, trying to rebuild this program. So I think he's just trying to get everybody involved, making everybody you know, important part, an important cog in the wheel, so to speak. And again, he's done a great job of getting this turned around in such a short period of time as a first-year head coach.
Well, isn't that important, though, at any level, Barry, is that you've got to get everybody in there. There's Burgos, sets up for a nice three-pointer. It's off, and then rebounds, fired over to the wrong side, and controlling it out of the Tigers as 2 good shots by the Cougars who did not fall.
Yeah, that's you know, that's their offense, though, and that's one Kelly's got to be able to put back in. They missed long on the three-pointer, got the offensive rebound, but weren't able to convert it.
Turns and fires, does the Tigers, and Abby Joseph grabs the rebound and takes control. Anna Vera Burgos trying to drive the lane back out to Joseph. Mahalik cooled off just a little bit since that hot burst, and she gets it over to Vera Burgos. Looking for the open man. Into McDaniel, and there it is. Nice play, puts it down. The ball bounces around and falls in. A terrific play by Amber Swisher. That's textbook right there, Barry. That's the way you draw it up, isn't it? That's the way you practice it, and it actually got executed.
The opportunity is to get the penetration, to dish it down low. And that's not really Amber. Amber's strength has traditionally been as a perimeter player, but she got down low there and was able to finish and complete the three-point play.
Big three-point play, 22-8. The Cougars are up on the Tigers from Belleville. I'm Phil Henry along with Coach Barry Patterson. Second quarter action. This game promises to be a hot one. The stutter step, fires off the ring. Nice box out to the Cougars. Still got control of the ball right now. Vera Burgos off to Abby Joseph. Abby pushes up past the timeline. Trail Mahalik, and she fires off a three-pointer. Battle for the rebound. Vera Burgos going to bring it out. Hannah now in the scrum, and it's going to be a jump ball, and that's going to go to Cougars. Oh, Tigers. Possession arrow favors the Tigers on that one.
And getting back, you know, to your point earlier about trying to get everybody some playing time, especially early in the season. You know, every team's a little bit different. I think, again, in their situation, they're trying to give everybody a lot of time. I think in a more veteran team that has the kids that are kind of your starters, and then you have your other kids that you're trying to get as many opportunities, but they have a role, and they have a very specific role, whether it's to be, you know, a rebounder or somebody who's a defensive specialist or a three-point specialist in some of your teams that are a little bit more established.
Yeah, and sometimes that has to play out in the game bench as the ball is off there. Kelly McDaniel with the rebound out. And Amber Swisher, she's a little short on her shot. Mahalik's in there, back out to Vera Burgos. She puts it on the floor. She's going for a layup in, not off the glass, misses, and pushing it back the other way are the Lady Tigers. 22-8. Under 2 minutes to go here in the first half.
Nice job by Abby Joseph cutting off the baseline drive.
Right there, nice steal by Hannah Vera Burgos, and she loses it back and gets it back. We're going to have a tie up here. And the arrow's going to favor the Lady Tigers on that one. Vera Burgos got herself in and out of trouble there.
Yes, but that was the rugby scrum.
Absolutely. But sometimes we were talking about, you know, development of a team, and don't you find that some players sometimes they're one way in practice, they could be another way in a game?
Oh, yes, absolutely. There's, I guess, the quote-unquote gamers that show up and, you know, they just have a different level they play on the game no matter how much you try to replicate it in practice. They're just a different player, and then there's other players that play a little more tentative in the games than they do in practice. That was a nice move, a nice shot.
Victoria Perez nails it. She hit the first shot of the game for Belleville, and she just hit that one, and it's 22-10, and Vera Burgos going in. And they're going to say that she lost control of that one, and it's going to be Lady Tiger ball.
Yeah, they called an offensive foul, even though the defender was actually probably retreating a little bit in the high school rule. If you initiate the contact, you can still be called for an offensive foul. And she kind of left her feet and jumped into the defender, even though the defender was not established in holding her position.
Goes down as a turnover. And here comes the Tigers of Victoria Perez over back to Ballinger, Smiley. Starting five back on the court again for the Tigers. Being harassed there by Abby Joseph. And they're going to call 5 seconds. Good call down there. Terrific harassing defense. And, you know, when the players are the same height, it's kind of hard to see that there's anybody there. Somebody should have come back, though. Yeah,
and Abby's she's such a strong player that, you know, some players, when you swing an elbow or whatever, you know, that's going to move them out of the way, but not with Abby.
Swisher's rebound goes long. This is going to be Brianna Smiley. She goes coast to coast and finishes it with the left hand.
That's a nice finish right there in a full court with her left hand. Of course, I'm assuming she is a lefty based on her comments earlier.
Abby Joseph in, getting it out over there to...
It's Desiree Krybczynski. Just checked into the game.
Desiree back out. Swisher picked up by McDaniel, and that's going to, on the line, it's going to go to Cougars. Cougar ball. You had an official right down on top of that one. Inbounding Vera Burgos.
Oh, we had a wide open cut.
Up to there, there's Mahalik, and she's off the rim. This is controlled by Smiley. Give it to Smiley, 2 seconds to go, and they don't get the shot off. We're going to go to halftime with the Cougars up 22-12. Don't you go anywhere. This is going to be a very important second half coming up, and a very exciting one at that. Join me, Phil Henry, along with Coach Barry Patterson in just a few moments.
In the small town of Elmira, New York, a boy was born into an all-American family. The odds of him achieving his dream in the fashion industry? 1 in 23 million. The odds of having a child diagnosed with autism? 1 in 88. I am Tommy Hilfiger, and my family is affected by autism. Learn more at autismspeaks.org/signs.
Incorporate Marketing is the official apparel provider of Omnidition Sports and GCTV. Located on Middle Belt Road just across from Garden City High School, Incorporate carries an incredible variety of Garden City Cougar apparel and swag. They also feature Garden City East and West gear and are your source for silk screening and embroidery. Owned by third-generation Garden City resident Jim Neve, Incorporate can help you design the perfect look for your company or event. Visit their website at incorporategraphics.com. KFC in Garden City is a sponsor of Omnidition Sports and GCTV and one of the providers of food services for the crew and volunteers for tonight's game. Garden City's KFC is located on Ford and Harrison and is owned by Garden City residents Dan and Paul Bogowski. Featuring all of the Colonel's great menu items, including original recipe, extra crispy, and grilled chicken, crispy strips, sandwiches, chicken pot pie, those famous sides, and more. So stop by Garden City's KFC on the corner of Ford and Harrison and tell them that you heard about them on Omnidition Sports. Lona's Pizza in Dearborn Heights is a sponsor of Omnidition Sports and GCTV and one of the providers of food services for the crew and volunteers for tonight's game. Located on Beachdale and Ford Road, Lona's is owned by Garden City's own Bob Oliverio and the Oliverio family. With the best pizza in Metro Detroit, Lona's delivers to all of Garden City. Round, square, or pan pizza, Lona's is the place. They also carry great subs, salads, and wings. Give them a call at 313-274-0100. That's 313-274-0100. Lona's Pizza.
Just second half action. I'm Phil Henry along with Coach Barry Patterson. And Coach Patterson, that first half went right true to form. Garden City just plain and simply had too much going for the Lady Tigers.
Yeah, we out-rebounded the Cougars almost 2-1 in that first half, which again has been a big thing. And Garden City downed 4 3-pointers in that first half as well. So,
who were some of our high scorers in that first half?
For Garden City, Mihalich led the team with 9 points, and Deja Collar with 5. And for the Lady Tigers, Brianna Smiley with 6, and Victoria Perez with 4.
So here we go into Kelly McDaniel, out weekly, and it's picked off by the starting 5 for the Lady Tigers as they push it on in. 33, that's Aaron Burbank. Out, fires up and off the rim and into Deja Collier's hands for a rebound, and off to Abby Joseph to settle things down. You'd really like to have Abby Joseph settling things down for you, don't you?
Yeah, she's definitely the team leader. That's a great look right there. We weren't able to finish, but nice penetration, nice feed inside, and got a little too high off the glass. But yeah, Abby's their go-to player, and tonight they haven't really had to count on her much for scoring, at least at this point. But as you said, she's the one that really settles the team down. She's the leader on the floor.
Comes right up the field and right up the court, I should say. And there's a turnaround jumper, and the ball is controlled by Abby Joseph. She's got a nice dribble, puts it on the floor, comes right down the center. And it gets everybody in their positions. Vera Burgos out to Mihalich, over to Collier. There's Abby Joseph back in position. She puts the ball in the court. It's skipped off of her leg. And on the muscle is Victoria Perez, and she looks and does a finger roll. Terrific finish right there, Barry. That was some athleticism.
Yeah, nice little crossover, split the defenders, and got that basket. We got a turnover at the other end by Abby. They stripped her trying to penetrate to the basket, and we didn't have anybody back at that point.
Picks it up. Kelly McDaniel looking for somebody. Passes over to Mihalich. Mahalik puts it on the floor with her left hand, back to the right hand. Nice spin move off the glass and misses that shot, but she's going to be fouled.
Nice effort by Mahalik on that. We're a little bit stagnant right now on the offensive side. You've got 4 people kind of standing, and if the one person's not penetrating, then we're not getting any movement in the offensive flow there. So I think they need to pick up the intensity level here as we get going in the second half.
That one falls in nicely for Mahalik. That's her 10th point on the evening. 23-14 here early in the third quarter of action. Both of these teams come in league play 3-1. Belleville leads the blue division, and Garden City's in second place in the red division as he sinks number 2. Here comes pushing it up the court rather quickly as Olivia Borgedorf. And there's a turnover by Perez. And it's going to go over to Garden City. We talked about that play earlier where there was a couple of passes and then ended up Victoria Swisher finished it off. You know, like 3 or 4 passes left, right, center, deep center, and then there was a finish off. And we haven't seen anything like that since. It's been individual
there
effort.
you go,
now,
right
there we go.
Yeah.
Nice big finish. They looked up here and you gave them the signal, Barry. I know that's what it was. You said enough of that. Let's go back to the basics.
Well, they did run that play just a couple possessions ago, and Kelly just got it too high off the glass, but that time she finished with a nice assist from Mahalik.
Perez shot falls as it turns into an out-of-bounds play, and the ball will be given to the Lady Cougars. Cougars up 26-14. They've been pretty much in control since the opening. They shot off to that big 16-2 lead, and they have not really been challenged since then.
I think Garden City could go on a little flurry here. We'll see, but they went to a man-to-man defense, and I just don't know if they're quick enough to be able to stay with us on the penetration. We have 2 or 3 girls that are going to be able to get to the rim, I believe.
Victoria Perez, definitely one of the players for this Belleville team as they're rebuilding, and Deja Collier fires over deep. Nice play by Kelly, and she tried to get it back out, bounced off of her. Here comes Victoria Perez, and she's going right down the center again and scores. That's now a 10-point lead, as just kind of quietly and silently Belleville's not going away.
Yeah, they're hanging in. They've Perez has really taken upon herself to just get the ball and go coast to coast and force one of the Garden City kids to get back to stop her, and so far they haven't gotten back.
Well, that kind of energy and enthusiasm can be very contagious when you have a player like that that's willing to give up her body and making that extra play and really getting in there and muscling things, tapping rebounds out and then going to the hoop as strong as she has can be very contagious. She's going to get a rest as Coach Joe Brody is going to be bringing in a couple of substitutions. And Coach Brody's in his second year. He has quite a lineage, doesn't he, of family?
Yeah, actually, this is his first year as head coach here at Belleville, and he does. His father, Bob Brody, is in his 30th year as head coach for the boys over at Plymouth-Salem High School. And his grandfather, who's his namesake, Joe, coached back in the 1960s as well. So he's no stranger to varsity basketball.
In the lane and out. Cougars allow that one to fall right in now, and it's 26-18.
Trey Nicholson hit that one. And again, I think Garden City just, needs to pick up the tempo a little bit.
There's Abby Joseph off the rim. Nice
rebound
by Kelly, and she's going to have a foul as there were elbows flying in there between her and number 23, Anita Batea.
Yeah, Kelly, again, battles real hard. They scrummed real hard, and Kelly battled enough to be able to draw the foul.
This is a great timeout right here, Barry, because at this point they're trying to take it upon themselves to win the game rather than go back to the teamwork that got them that lead in the first place, and then they started becoming individuals, and now it's like a great call here by Michelle Tyree to get them back to playing team basketball. Yeah,
I think definitely Coach wants to make sure a couple of things. Number one, that they continue to attack the rim on the offensive side and don't just settle for the first time they touch the ball to fire it up. And then again, on the defensive side, The 3 baskets that they allowed to Perez in this, or 2 baskets, excuse me, they allowed to Perez in this half were coast to coast, and they didn't get anybody back. And I know that's a real pet peeve for Coach Tyree, is not getting anybody back on the defensive side.
Yeah, they were like running alongside of her. You know, you got to get somebody in front of her, you know, and try to get her off course or take the charge if necessary.
In their offense, on every shot, they actually have a designated player who's supposed to fall back. And that's a nice inbounds play. Just the old split play we called. And, you know, Abby's going to the free throw line.
Yeah, and Abby has just been terrific at the free throw line this year. She is just a little under 500. She's 32 out of 75 heading into today, and she misses the first one right there.
Yeah, that's, again, the area that I think Coach Tyree, you know, one of the areas is getting, I mentioned earlier, is getting more consistency at the free throw line. You talk about points per possession, and if you can get to the free throw line and split the pair and you get 1 point on every possession, you're going to win about every game you play. So you're trying to optimize points on every possession.
Making a move towards the basket are the Tigers right there. They get it into Smiley. Smiley turns around, look at Batea. Batea back out to Smiley. Deja Carter steps into the passing lane and swats it away and controls it.
And that's that quickness, and Deja's 3rd steal on the night.
Abby Joseph going to set things up, slowing it down just a little bit. She's making a drive to the basket, out to Vera Burgos. She comes with her left hand into Kelly McDaniel and off the glass and then for 2. Nice play by Hannah as she got the assist on that one and found the open McDaniel, and nice finish by Kelly.
Yeah, again, the whole offense here, again, is predicated on every penetration that we have, the post player being Kelly McDaniel at this point. She moves according to where the penetration comes. If they penetrate baseline, she slides up to the middle. You know, if they penetrate down the lane, she goes opposite. And, you know, again, they know where she's going to be every time they penetrate. So when their player helps, she's going to be wide open.
And that ball right there goes off of the hands of Paris Lawrence, and that'll be Cougar basketball right now. 29-18 as they're starting to come out of their doldrums a little bit. They broke off to a big lead and then just have been kind of just sitting here biding their time. Slowly but surely chipped away, and here's Vera Burgos, and it's off the front of the rim. And this one's controlled now and handed over to Brianna Smiley. Smiley with her left hand puts it down, and she's going to drag that pivot foot and caught for traveling.
Yeah, she got a travel call. I actually think she got a little bit of a trip there, it seemed like, and she lost her footing. But again, she's traveled a couple times. The refs have seen it, so you know, you start to look for it after somebody's done it a couple of times.
Yeah, and she didn't look like she knew what she was going to do with the ball. She was putting it on there, and she didn't know if she was going to try and pass it, or, you know, we've seen her pull up and shoot. And here's Abby Joseph taking the lane, and it's off the heel and then controlled by the Tigers, and the Tigers are pushing it up. Brianna Ballinger quickly over to Cherie Nicholson. On the court, Ballinger, nice touch pass over, off, and to the Cougars, as that was Paris Lawrence, could not control it.
Looks like Belleville is going to start to pick up a little bit higher. Oh no, they're going to fall back, but they're picking up a little more pressure on the defensive man-to-man, but that should again create bigger gaps for the penetration.
Collier with the ball in this lane, controlled by Paris Lawrence as she is controlling the boards right now. Pushing it down, over, back out to Burbank. Into Nickerson. There's Deja Carter, and she tips and just had a hard time getting control of that, and was not able to really bring it to fruition right there, as keeping her defensive position. Cherie Nicholson did a great job.
Yeah, it's just kind of, you know, again, did a great job reading, broke on the ball, tipped it out, but just couldn't get the handle. A little too greasy.
Vera Burgos out to Swisher. Swisher misses. Right here's Nicholson, and she controls. Into Ballinger. Ballinger pushes it up over the timeline. Back in. Fight for the rebound. And there's going to be a foul called in there. That was quite a big scrap for that rebound. And coming out with it was Vera Burgos.
That could go either way. It looks like it's going to go against Garden City. Well, a nice opportunity for a three-point play for Belleville off the inbounds.
Paris Lawrence. Paris, one of the taller players out there, and she's been really asserting herself in and around the basket on the rebound side, and now offensively 29-20 with a chance to cut the lead to 8 now. It's a good look at Paris.
And that was her first 2 of the night there. And I'm not sure, I mean, you correct me if I'm wrong, but has Belleville attempted a shot outside the paint today?
As far as not in three-point land, they haven't shot it.
I'm trying to remember if they've actually taken a perimeter jump shot. I mean, they've been patient, deliberate, other than in the full court opportunities.
Back to Vera Burgos, over to Mahalik, and she fires and misses.
Missed that shot. And
back up
nice
and
rebound by
Ashlyn Cavanis. That was Desiree Kurzwinski that passed it to her, got the assist on it. Defense moves. Aaron Burbank
got away with a little slide of the foot.
Patrick out, and that one's controlled by Cavanis. Ashlyn Cavanis has played some big minutes when she's been in tonight.
Yeah, she's been very strong off the boards tonight. That was a big basket she just scored. Belleville started to gain a little momentum, and for her to come up with that rebound and put back was huge.
Burgos finding Collier all alone. She fires a 3 in and out, but the rebound fire away by Desiree, and then here's Vera Burgos with a nice rebound, drives to the hoop, and she's going to be fouled, and she's going to shoot 2.
Yeah, again, that's to me probably the biggest difference in the game right now has been the rebounding factor. Is Belleville, I think, is getting very limited offensive rebounds, and Garden City's getting a ton of offensive rebounds and getting those extra possessions.
Hit the heel, bounces off the heel. HVB.
Yeah, she's actually probably one of the top free throw shooters on the team at almost 68% coming in.
There's nice form right there. You notice how she bent her legs, really got into it, got her whole body into it. Nice spin on the basketball, and it just sunk right through. It's real professional looking. Belleville on the muscle, trying to get things in. They try to work it in deep, and it's fired over the head as they were trying to find their go-to person, Paris Lawrence, and she just couldn't handle it. There's some full court pressure, and on the floor is Shereen Nicholson right over there in front of Dan York. Dan, Omni Edition TV. I forgot to give us Omni Edition plugs here. Of course, Lona's Pizza and KFC are nice long-time supporters of Omni Edition Sports. As the third quarter comes to an end, and it's 32-21. The Lady Cougars are up by 11 heading into the fourth quarter. This scrappy team from Belleville, though, they're really starting to assert themselves on the floor net. Whether they have the talent to stay with Garden City, that we're going to find out in the next 8 minutes, aren't we, Barry?
Yeah, that'll definitely be the big question. They played us, even that quarter, but to Garden City's credit, they came away maintaining that lead through the third quarter. So now you're looking at shortening the game to an eight-minute game. You're just, again, as I said, looking to cut the lead there, and they weren't able to do so.
And here's who the Tigers are playing right now. They've got Lincoln Consolidated, and then Robichaud, and then they have Thurston, and then Edsel Ford. So that's the upcoming schedule for these Tigers as we're heading, trying to fine-tune their skills for February Fury.
Yes.
I had to make sure that I had that roll. That's the prelude to March Madness.
Yes, absolutely. And that'll be hosted here at Garden City High School this year. And I know at least in the girls, I'm not positive if the boys are hosting or not. I haven't talked to Mr. Phillips about that, but I know the girls are hosting the districts this year.
Yeah, and Rob Phillips does a terrific job, getting a lot of that. They host a lot of wrestling events and a lot of big-time things right here at Garden City.
Yes.
So this school should be very proud of what they do with athletics. And, that's a great way to show that.
Yeah,
Let's get up here. Deja Carter, and she is going to go all the way, just like a layup drill that they come out and start each game with as she lays it up and in, and it's now a 13-point lead. Borgdorf in, back to Borgdorf. Over to Brianna Smiley. There's an outside shot. Fight for the rebound, and there's Paris Lawrence in there amongst others, and it's going to be controlled by Ashley Cavanis.
I guess that was, what I was kind of alluding to earlier in terms of the perimeter shooting. It's going to be real tough to get back into a game if you're down double digits, if you've got to count on that real deliberate. There's the travel because she got up from the ground with possession of the ball. But it's real hard if you have no three-point shooters or no perimeter to be able to. You're going to have to rely on either some kind of full-court pressure and get a lot of steals and layups because that deliberate style just takes too much time, and you need too many possessions in that last period. Again, maybe Coach Brody here is going to start to look to pick up the intensity or pick up the press full court, perhaps.
Yeah, we were talking about Omni Edition Sports, and there's one of our favorites right there, KFC.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, when you go in there, it doesn't really matter what level of hunger you are, you're going to get filled up when you go to KFC. They've got a snack, they've got a meal, and they got just plain, Super Bowl coming up. What a great way, to go out there and just get a whole bunch of KFC and have the guys over.
I got to get my first on-the-go cup. So.
Excellent.
Maybe I can get them in free through the back way somehow or something.
And Garden City residents, of course, own that, and they've been longtime sponsors of Omni Edition Sports TV. And Dan York down there doing a great job announcing. We feel so honored and privileged that he allows us to sit in these seats up here because he's certainly one talented,
payback.
awesome
Dan York
person.
coached softball with me back in 90-91. We went to the state finals, and I made him hang out with me at that point. So another nice, penetrate dish to Ashlyn Cavanis and a great finish. Ashlyn
Cavanis uses the left hand off the glass, and she's played some very important minutes and really kept this Garden City team afloat. And she's being rewarded by Coach Tyree with some big playing time as we start the fourth quarter. And here comes Abby Joseph, and there's a fight with Olivia Borgdorf. Olivia's really been pesky. When we see her in here, double zeros.
Yeah, and I think, again, hate to keep beating that same issue, but I think this is the difference between Belleville right now and Belleville in the past. They're not skill-wise a lot different than they were a year ago. They have a lot of the same players, many that didn't come back, but they're not going to quit. They're going to continue to fight. They're going to continue to battle, and that ultimately is going to make them better.
Mahalik picks it up, and she tried to get it into Cavanis, but the ball bounced back, and Mahalik picked it up and put it back in. 38-21 right now. 17-point lead by the Cougars. Ballinger into the paint. She misses the shot, and Borgdorf comes in out of control, and the ball's off of her, and here's the full court pressure. Getting it to Abby Joseph. Paris Lawrence comes up to meet Abby Joseph, running side by side with her. Joseph finds the open person, Ashlyn Cavanis, and she's going to be fouled down there. Victoria Perez laid the wood to her.
Yeah, great job by Ashlyn running the floor. That's her job as one of the bigs, is on change of possession at the other end, is to get there and run the floor and be available at the other end. And she did a great job of that, and they found her.
Shoot two in and out. She misses the first one. On the season, she's made 9 of 22 heading into tonight's game. That nice style, getting that ball bouncing around. There she is. Up and in, 1 out of 2 for Ashlyn. She's having a big night tonight off the bench. And there's Deja Deja Collier, and she bounces that one, and the ball slipped and hit Bianca Ballinger on its way out.
Yeah, and coach at this point, again, I think he's got an opportunity here to work on his full court press. I mean, we're going to have a hard time, they're going to have a hard time keeping Garden City from getting the ball down the court. Garden City got called with a push off right there, but it gives him an opportunity to work on this. So you get in that game with a minute to go, and it's a 3-point game, and you need possession of the ball. These are great opportunities to work on those things.
Olivia Borgdorf passing in to Burbank. Over to Perez, back to Burbank. On the floor, back to Perez. She shoots, misses. Mahalik controls the boards, finding Joseph.
They got Ashlyn wide open again.
And here she comes, Ashlyn Cavanis, and she bounces a little too hard off the basket. Heard the footsteps. Back come the Tigers. Burbank finds Borgdorf. Over to Ballinger, back over to Borgdorf. Fires off the rim, controlled by Joseph. Joseph being harassed now, and we call a foul. Foul on Vera Burgos.
Yeah, I must have called
Away from the ball.
I didn't see it. Might have been an illegal screen coming back, or a little push off, going down the court. I didn't actually see what happened on that one.
Well, we said earlier how Abby was able to bring the ball up at will there in the center court. Now Belleville's starting to clog the center of the court, forcing Garden City to get out of their rhythm a little bit, bringing the ball up as they fire short. It battle for the boards, and they're controlled by Mahalik. She's had a great game tonight also. Back to Joseph now. The pressure picked up over the timeline into Vera Borgos. She's harassed down there. Ballinger and Perez at the guard position doing most of the pesky harassing. There's a wild attempt up there by Abby Joseph, and foul is going to be called on Ashlyn.
Yeah, I think Coach Tyrese wanting a little bit of the contact called on them. They were bumping the ball handler pretty well. I think she's hoping to get a little bit of a call on the contact there. But as Belleville's picked up the physicality a little bit here in the last minute or so.
That's one thing about the girls, Barry, is they just don't quit. The girls, when it's over, it's over. But they give it all they've got. So if you've been sitting out there and you're watching this, you're just kind of flipping through the channels and you pick up a little bit of this, come out here and see these girls. They really put on a great show. And this Garden City team is very impressive, very fundamentally sound. They go very deep on the bench. They're very well coached.
Yeah, and they still got an upside. I mean, most of their starting lineup and their big contributors are kids that are going to be back again next year. And I think they're just touching the surface this year. I think next year you can expect some really big things, again from the Lady Cougars. Not that they won't achieve them over the course of this year, but they have one more year of experience. And, again, the JV team's having a great year. So things are really looking up for the Lady Cougars. So, and as you said, it'd be nice, as a former basketball coach here and current softball coach, I would love to see the girls get a little bit more support. From the student body, from, the staff coming back to watch games, and from the community. It can be exciting. And the game is exciting when you bring the crowd in and you give them things to cheer about. Then the game's exciting.
Well, and the girls deserve it. And, I did a head count the other day. There's 1,549 students. Now, I don't know how many were absent that day, but I counted 1,549. And by gosh, they should be able to save up some of their milk money like I did when I was a kid and get out here and support these girls, because they're lots of fun. They really work hard, and they make you really proud, and they really feed off of that enthusiasm, too.
The milk money's a lot more than it used to be.
Like we never had pizza, I used to look forward to a peanut butter sandwich and chocolate milk every once in a while.
Yeah, I just think, when they switched and the boys are playing opposite, I think that the boys are still the bigger draw, and most of the students that go to watch are going to watch the boys, and if you can get them in an off night, then you have an opportunity maybe to draw a little bigger crowd.
Well, we've got a lot of students to pick from, Barry, so, you know, there needs to be more students start out here and get involved and have some fun and support these girls, support the boys. Just get out here and have a great old time.
Yeah. You only get 4 years to do it.
The ball right there, as you said, the Lady Tigers from Belleville, they are not going to go down easy. They're trailing by 18 points with 4 minutes to go, but they're starting to ratchet up the aggressiveness and the physical play quite a bit right here. And Garden City's no stranger to this kind of basketball. This team's well seasoned, as there's going to be a timeout called here.
Yeah, as I mentioned earlier, you know, just having the opportunity to have played, you know, our league stuff, and again, as I said, we've won the games we're probably supposed to win within our league, as we're, you know, probably going to do here again tonight. But, you know, having the opportunity to go out and play Regina and some of those teams really are getting us prepared. So when we get these physical games.
There's our crew right there. You know, these guys come out here and they just do a great job. And, you know, I'm a remiss tonight, Barry. I have to apologize to you. I didn't get all their names together. I give them nice pats on the back last Friday night, but that's the only what have it done for me lately. So what did you do for me tonight? And I didn't get all their names, but these guys do a great job. They're a lot of fun. They work really hard. They're up here before the game. They're up here after the game. And Dan York's crew, and I know there's Gibby out there in the truck, and I know Furby's out there, and those guys, they just do a great job. We've got some extra special audio going on tonight.
Yeah.
And, you know, it just so makes you feel so. Jason Lynch from Fox Sports Detroit is up here in the house, and these guys really make it fun.
Oh, yeah, we're very fortunate here in Garden City to have the GCTV to be out and cover contests. Not a lot of places have that opportunity or have a situation like this, a channel to come out and put on a production like Dan York does here.
Absolutely. And they feed you so well. I mean, the pay is great.
Yeah, I was going to say, you got fed?
That pizza was only a couple hours old by the time I got here.
Well, maybe I got here too late. Putting on just a little full court diamond trap there. Garden City.
Vera Burgos, she does a great job of penetration. Nice she gets finish. It over to Kelly McDaniel, and Kelly really shows that left hand off the glass.
That was a nice finish right there. I got just a little warning after, just to not touch the ball after it goes through the basket. That's a great finish right there.
20-point lead, that makes it, as Kelly McDaniel, she's just done a yeoman's job in there early on when this game was just very young, and that's when they were battling for position, Barry. That's when she really showed herself, as they just would not let Belleville anywhere near the painted area at all.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's it. I mean, short of a few breakaways where they went down and Perez had those couple drives and Smiley had a couple of left-hand drives. I mean, they just, you know, they have not had the opportunity to get the ball into the paint, and they have no perimeter game. So, you know, again, that strategy of just kind of packing that 2-3 zone in has really paid dividends for them tonight.
Yep, and Kelly McDaniel's been just one of the two in there, and Shania Presley has been big. Amber Swisher's done a great job. Ashlyn Cavanis has done really well. And, of course, here goes HVB as she brings it up. The regular guards have just done a terrific job tonight, too. This whole team has been just that team. And there's a big collision right there as Olivia Borgdorf steps right in front of Hannah Vera Burgos, and Borgdorf kind of threw her shoulder in and just caught Hannah, who's down withering in pain right now. Looked like she caught her in the bridge of the nose, possibly.
Yeah, maybe caught her in right by the eye and the nose there. She went to looked like reach in for maybe steal, and there was some contact there, right?
And I just read her lips. She said, "I'm all right."
Yeah, she seems to be pretty coherent down there, so I think we're all right.
That's a big hit. I don't care if it's boys or girls. That was a big hit right there. And Hannah, you know, really needs to sit down here for just a minute. There's no pride in that. Sit down and collect your thoughts for just a second.
Yeah, I mean, with 3 minutes to go and up 20, that was, you know, not even really a reason to have to return at this point.
2:55 left. I'm Phil Henry along with Coach Gary Patterson. It's a 20-point Cougar lead. They've been pretty much in control right off the bat as Lindsay Mahalik came out hot tonight as she poured in about 9 points in the first couple of minutes of this game. Led the Cougars out to a 16-2 lead, and they've really never been pressed after that.
No, they at one time I think they cut it to about 8, and you know, after that, especially Garden City started to really spread it here in the fourth quarter.
2 big free throws by Abby Joseph makes it 43-21. And there's a pass that's now going to be picked off by Mahalik, and she's going to have a running mate, and she picks her way in, and she tries to go up for it, and just sticking her hand in the passing lane is Bianca Ballinger. She's going to pick up the foul, but sometimes, you know, just get your hands up there.
Yeah.
It's a good strategy.
Yeah, and on the plus side for Garden City, Lindsay gets an opportunity to continue to work on shooting free throws.
Lindsay has been terrific at the free throw line this year. She's hitting better than 60%, 23 out of 38.
She's one of those kids that has that ability to get to the rim, and she's going to get fouled a lot. And, you know, again, that ability to finish once you get to the free throw line is going to be huge.
Comes the Tigers, putting the ball down, and it's going to be stolen by Abby Joseph, but they say they had her on the out-of-bounds line, so it'll go back to the Tigers. Alexis Kilpatrick gonna bring it in. Anita Battaglia in there.
Looks like the Garden City still staying at 2-3 and kind of getting out and pressure. And Abby did a good job that time of getting out on the ball. They've extended the zone a little bit more here than they did early on.
Rachel Spellman getting a chance in there now. She fired up a couple of shots in that first half, and with Hannah Vera Burgos, she's sitting down the bench. I think she's okay after that big collision she had. Here's Rachel Spellman. She gets a chance now at the point position. There's a tie-up. Perfect shot is Swisher, Amber Swisher. She's played some big minutes tonight also.
Yeah, Amber's done a nice job. She's gotten, you know, some opportunities. And again, I was real impressed with the one post move she had earlier in the game.
Wild shot fired up as Mahalik comes down with the ball. In control, she's getting it up over the timeline, and to Joseph to bring it up over the timeline. Abby Joseph looking to settle things down.
Looks like maybe Shania is going to get an opportunity here to get in as well.
It was Daniela Perez trying to block, and ended up being called for a block on Abby Joseph. Abby just doesn't, she's got more quickness than what it may seem, and I think they have just the wrong girl trying to guard her out there.
Yeah, it's tough, and she's so strong. I mean, you know, she's tough to move. You know, if she gets a body on you, you're going to move with her. And you know, just again, she's probably deceptively quick, as you say, but more importantly, she's a load when she gets out there. Real bull.
Fight for the rebound is going to be controlled by Abby Joseph. There's about the 6th set of hands in there, Coach, and she pulled it down. So Mahalik on the floor, and this one's out, and it's a big nail in the coffin right there by Desiree Kurzwinski. Kurzwinski really fired up a nice big three-pointer, 49-21. Cougars are really stepping out here in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, Belleville's just having a hard time just getting a shot in the last, you know, 6-7 possessions. You know, they're just turning it over, not even getting shot opportunities. And the Garden City defense has remained, you know, intense. They've spread the 2-3 out a little bit. And as we get into the last minute here, just giving everybody an opportunity to to finish out here.
Up by Swisher, off the rim. Fight for the rebound. I think Mihalik's going to have it, and they're going to call a tie-up, and it's going to go to Cougars. Cougars basketball. Shania Presley fires, and she gets her own rebound. She shoots again and off the glass.
It's good to see for Shania. Did a great job, followed up her shot, got a rebound, got an opportunity to get the putback.
Boy, she was looking for points too. When she came in, she was looking to get in on this. This is a 30-point victory margin here at this point for the Cougars, and she wanted to get in on the party. And here she comes again. No. Now, how much time do you spend, coaching, working on the glass shots? Because those glass shots are so important, especially a shot like that one right there. You know, you've got to really, really have a nice. It's almost like shooting pool and having that bank in a pool game.
They start every practice working on their form shooting, and that includes working those shots off the backboard.
And that horn will sound. There's triple zeros on the scoreboard. And the Garden City Cougars are feeling very victorious, as the final score is going to be 51 for the Lady Cougars and 21 for the Lady Tigers, as it was just absolute thorough domination by this Cougar team tonight, Barry.
Yeah, from midway through the third quarter on, there was basically no doubt Garden City really showed they had the superior skill. Again, I thought Belleville competed real hard, for the first three quarters. Maybe not so much those last, 4 minutes or so. They didn't get many shot opportunities. But Mihalik got him started tonight with those threes, and she finished with 13 points, I believe, tonight, and leading scorer for Garden City. But they got contributions up and down the board, which is, again, that's what this team does. They don't have really have that superstar that's going to get you 15 or 20 every night. It's a different kid you're reading about every night that's got 10, 12, 14, and same thing with the rebounds. So.
Yeah, so it was a great night, and so Garden City will go 8-4 on the overall record, 4-1 in the red division. Belleville Tigers will fall to 5-3 overall and 3-2 in the blue division, and the Cougars will be in second place behind Romulus. And for tonight's action, an Omni Edition sports presentation, I'm Phil Henry. For the coach, Barry Patterson, we're going to say goodnight, and we hope to see you out here live during the month of February.
Thanks a lot, Phil.